Look, it'll be interesting to see. I suppose it depends on what sort of game it is. If it's a fast up and back game, guys will be pretty tired. But if it's a bit more contested and close in, then guys will have a bit more run in their legs. But and the wet weather might change all that again. I'm not sure exactly what the conditions are going to end up at. But yeah, there's no doubt it's not going to be a normal game in terms of 7-day break. But you listen to both sets of players talk in the media over the last couple of days, and they would have played the day after. They would have played Sunday if they had to. Such an important game for both clubs, and as everyone said, a privilege to play in it.
There was some talk on radio this morning that perhaps for extenuating circumstances like weeks like this, where you have such a short break, that perhaps there could be a provision to have an extra sub. What would you think about that?
Look, I think it's something to look at, but the fact that it probably only happens every 6 or 7 years, 5 or 6 years, depending on the leap year. I'm not a that's not meteorologist. What is it? Astrologist. But yeah, look, that'd be great, but it's not going to happen. So.
Have you scanned Michael Hurley? What's the?
Yeah, he's got a slight strain of his hamstring, and he'll miss 2 weeks, and we'll look after it and make sure that we get him back. And it's disappointing, but yeah, hopefully that cycle is finished.
How did you sort of cope with the 4-day break anyway? Did you forego the traditional main session? Was it 100% recovery basically?
Very much so, yeah. Very much just recovery. We haven't had a big training session. I think that the warm-up tomorrow will be our biggest training session. And it's been very individual. Like some guys have been able to run around Sunday, some yesterday, and we'll wait for today for some guys to actually, run around for the first time.
It's difficult to think it's going to end early. Are you still waiting on to see the guys are going to come up?
Definitely.
That sort of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. We haven't confirmed our team. We've got to put a team into the AFL tonight by 5 o'clock, but we'll put it as good a team as we can put in at 5 o'clock. But there'll probably be some guys who will wait and see tomorrow morning on really how their soreness pulls up, and just give them that extra time. But I'd say that 95% of the players picked will play, and there might be 1 or 2 emergencies that will come in. Yeah, he's one we've given extra recovery to. He's obviously taken a little bit longer to recover than most, being 37 years old, but he looks like he'll get up, which is good.
From a coaching perspective, having such a short time to prepare, did you have to have one of the coaching staff with an eye on this game a week or 2 out, just in terms of reconnaissance for Collingwood and preparing for game style and game plan?
Yeah, we've got an opposition scout who's at probably the previous 3 games of every club that we're playing, and this week he was at the Port Adelaide game against Collingwood. The week before he was at the Carlton game, and the week before he was at the Richmond game. So we've been studying them for quite a while, and our meetings have been a bit shorter than they perhaps would have been, just to try and fit them all in up until this game.
What do you make of the form? By most observations, been a little bit below their normal sort of standards in early doors.
Yeah, I thought they were very good last week. I thought they certainly bounced back into some good form last week. They're good players, took control of the game, and they've got some exceptional talent in their team. The midfield, you look at the midfield with Pendlebury and Swan, and Wellingham doing a good job in there, and side bottom on the wing, there's premiership players there. There's Dawes and Cloak up forward who have torn us apart in the past, and we're very wary of. And then down back, Harry O'Brien and Nick Maxwell, you leave them alone at your peril. So we're very aware of how talented they are, and they played in the grand final 6 months ago. And not only does that mean they've got a huge amount of talent, but great character and in pride in who they are. So we have no doubt that they're a very good football team, and we've got our work cut out tomorrow.
A lot of Anzac Day clashes have kind of gone against the run of form, where the underdog has got up on one. Have you got any theories or ideas as to why that is?
I'm not sure exactly why, but it is an emotional day, and I think if you're playing a game in the middle of the year that doesn't mean a lot against a side who, and someone gets a jump on you, it's hard to. Sometimes the players just don't come back, but this is a big day, so the players are very aware that they want to stay in the contest, and if you stay in the contest, anything can happen.
Are you doing anything in particular to kind of commemorate Anzac Day other than the game itself, or is there simply not time, trips to the shrine and things that you've done in the past years?
Look, it's been hard this year just with the time and recovery, but it's certainly been a big focus of our talks during the week about Anzac Day and about the symbolisation of our community and what it means to Australia. So that's been a big part of it, but too much outside influence this year on a 4-day break's just almost been impossible.
And can you draw on your own experiences as a player and I suppose your successes on Anzac Day? Hope that your boys also kind of thrive on that big game stage.
that'd be sort of like telling your kids that you did it your way and keep following me. But no, I think that it's very much about the mark that our players want to leave on the AFL in their own right, rather than what our legacy was 10, 15 years ago. And this playing group has to leave their own legacy, and it's about building what they have, and that's really important.
Any new players in the mix or guys coming back?
Yeah, Jake Carlisle, Courtney Dempsey, Henry Slattery, Travis Collier, all in the mix. So Luke Davis, all in the mix. So we'll finalise that later on this afternoon. But it's I suppose it's a balance between do you bring in fresh legs, or do you go with guys who really performed well for us on the weekend? And I don't think that you should throw good form out. And certainly guys who really committed themselves against Carlton deserve their right to play in this game. We've just got to make sure they're fit and ready to go. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Trav had a fantastic pre-season. Unfortunately, broke his thumb the last training session before the first game, and we've got a lot of expectation of Travis this year, and so is he. But whether he plays this week will just depend on whether some guys come up sore or not.
What's your thoughts about Davis?
Luke Davis. Luke comes from South Australia. We recruited him as a halfback flanker, but really worked in the midfield this pre-season. Has played a number of tagging roles in the VFL and also in our intra-club matches. So we'd bring him as a close checking midfielder. I think he's got just a burning desire to play AFL football and be really good at it. And he's come from not the traditional path, and probably when you see those guys who come the hard way through AFL footy and had to move down from Bendigo, didn't have a lot of money, had to live with some mates, and doesn't have the expectation that I suppose a lot of first round draft picks do, or early draft picks. He realises the other side and is prepared to work really hard, and he's got an amazing physical makeup. He's just a really amazing athlete.
Is he strong as bloke people?
He'd go close to it, yeah, depending on what exercise they're doing, but in some of them he'd go close to it, yeah.
Just needs to have a chat to Lloyd about his job.
Yeah, he'll be right. We're working with him, and he's very keen to get that right. But anyone that can have 11 shots at goal in a game against a quality opposition is a very good player.
How's Joe pulled up? He looked absolutely out on his feet on Saturday, as you'd expect, with rotations and stuff. Is he one of the ones that's struggling to be right for the weekend?
Job's looking good. Yeah, Job trained yesterday, so we're confident that he's pulled up well. He does a lot of hard work around the stoppages, which means that he takes a little bit longer to recover than most guys. But yeah, we've been very happy with the way Job's recovered, and yeah, he's right to go.
How's he helping us? Watched him chase around Jody last week and that battle the week before, and probably Canterbury this week or something. Do you need to protect him a little bit?
It's a big 3 weeks when you've got Ablett, Jard, and either Pendlebury or Swan in a 3-week period. But certainly he gets plenty of practice at it, and he plays in the best. And I've got a lot of admiration for Heath in the way he goes about his game and the way he bounced back. Not the greatest game on Gary Ablett, but a lot better on Chris Judd, and went a long way to helping us win. And hopefully this week he continues on that form.
Joe, expecting Armageddon today, so chances are it'll be wet tomorrow. Will you have a chat to your players about the sliding in from the ball situation? We've seen Goods get last week, Thomas yesterday. Will you have a chat to your boys about watching themselves when they do it? Yeah,
it's something I hadn't even thought about until probably the weekend, and seeing what happened with Lindsay Thomas, and even the Adam Goods one. I didn't see it as much in the AFL as it probably has been, and it's like the bump now. You just got to be very careful, and if you choose to slide in, you want to make sure you get the ball and get to the ball first rather than second, because if you get to the ball second and your knees go into the player, then there's a fair chance you'll miss a week or two, which no one wants to do, and you don't want to see injuries like the Gary Rowan injury either. Like that's a horrendous injury, and I wouldn't like to see too many of those.
You weren't a slider, were you, mate?
Now and then. I think look, it comes about from if you're going to go to a contest at the same time as another player, you either go in and get there just before or just after, and normally the guy that gets there just after, if he doesn't protect himself, gets hurt. So there's a bit of self-preservation there, which is only natural.
You say you need to get to the ball first. It looked like Lindsay Thomas did get to the ball first.
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, I've spoken about it last night, and sort of been quoted fairly heavily today already about it, but it's horrible to see what happened to Gary Rowan. But I think Lindsay is a little bit unfortunate that the injury occurred, because if there had been no injury, just had been normal knock, it wouldn't have even been discussed, I don't think.